WagerTalk Today going live in 3, 2, 1. Prez, you are live.
Oh, welcome everybody to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Prezman. You're watching the best daily sports betting show on the entire planet, bar none. And we got a killer lineup. Gianni The Greek will start the show. He's going to tell us where all the wisest syndicates in the world, where their money is going, what games they're betting tonight. What are they playing in the 4 NHL games? What are they playing in the NBA games? Gianni's going to let us know. Andy Lang after that. He's got some prop bets for us, including some NHL and some NBA. Mark Zinno coming on, talking Milwaukee, Indiana, the New York Knicks, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Hakeem Profit after him, Memphis and OKC. Minnesota and the Lakers. Yes, we're going to take apart all 4 NBA games today. We're going to do a deep dive. We're going to tell you exactly how you should bet those games. And we're going to end the show with Andrew McInnis. He's going to look at the Ottawa-Toronto matchup and Minnesota playing Vegas. Let's get it going. Gianni, what up, my brother?
God bless America. Shout out to Blockbead, my man. Good looking out, brother. Thanks for the support.
Yeah.
Busy. Not a lot of volume, but multiple markets going on. A little NHL, a little NBA, and of course, some Major League Baseball. I wanted to talk to you about that NHL. You're up in Canada. They bet Ottawa today. Now, Ottawa owned them throughout the season, right? They went 3-0 against them. They were dogs all 3 times. Toronto comes out, wins game 1. No surprise, the home teams usually do. Do we back Ottawa in game 2 like the betting syndicates are doing? Or is it just they're not a good road team? You know what I mean? They haven't played very well on the road. So it doesn't matter.
Gianni, let me get into that right off the bat. So firstly, I want to tell everybody, and most people know this, I'm a total 100% Toronto fan. It is the only fandom I have in my life. I do not cheer for the Toronto Blue Jays to the point where I won't bet against them. I do not cheer for the Raptors or the TFC. I cheer for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt. I'm just going to say this, Gianni, and this is a betting angle. This is, to me, one of the best betting angles in all of sports, and it crosses every single sport. That angle is bet on a team that won their last game that did not play great. And I know that the Toronto Maple Leafs won their last game 6-2 against Ottawa, but they were outshot substantially. Ottawa put up 33, I think. Toronto only 24. That's close to a 10-shot difference. Ottawa held the puck more. Ottawa was in Toronto's end. Toronto is in a situation where, and we spoke about this, I do a show every day with Matthew Barnaby, and we spoke about this yesterday on the Blue Line. You want to play on a team where the coach can do his best coaching. And a coach can do their best coaching when a team is in a good mood, i.e. they just won their first game, but they didn't play well and recognized it. I think Ottawa's a bad bet tonight. I think not only is Ottawa a bad bet tonight, but I think Toronto plays better tonight than they played in game 1. Now, I don't think it's going to be 6-2. I just feel like Toronto look, they're a veteran team, and they understand they cannot zigzag their way to the Stanley Cup championship. They have to win 2-3 games in a row, put their foot down. They got Florida and Tampa Bay who are going to have a nasty 6-7 game series. This is a huge game for Toronto. I'm not buying where the wise money is being spent. I think Toronto is the right play. I would even parlay them with Carolina tonight. We just got word that Luke Hughes and Dylan will not be playing for New Jersey tonight. New Jersey is there for the taking. There's a lot of money coming in on Carolina. I have no issue if you parlay Carolina and Toronto both on the money line. I am not with your syndicate on this.
That's what's going on. In fact, that's exactly what the hockey guys, they tend to usually just bet hockey. You know what I mean? They don't really dabble in other sports, the hardcore hockey fans. And I see certain accounts that only bet hockey every night. And that's what they're doing. They're parlaying Carolina, Toronto, and Vegas. Carolina, Toronto, Vegas. Carolina, Toronto, Vegas. And they're betting the overs as well. Every one over. But the heavy overs is the over 5.5 in New Jersey, Carolina, and the over 5.5 in Ottawa, Toronto. Those two overs are getting a lot of love from the recreational bettors. In fact, that Toronto and over parlay is starting to stick out, where they're not adding teams to it. They're just going Toronto and over. So it's Carolina, Toronto, Vegas. If one of them goes down, it's going to wipe out a lot of money line parlays that the books are going to have a ton of risk on in the NHL playoffs. That's for sure.
Yeah, and listen, I've done 2 hockey shows already, so we're going to move on. But I don't like the over in the Minnesota-Vegas game. I'm just letting people know that now. I actually, my second favorite bet of the entire card is the under in the Minnesota-Vegas game. So I would not bet that over. And keep in mind, that was 3-2 with about a second left to go in the game. And then there was an empty netter to make it 4-2, which cashed a lot of tickets, all the -1.5s, and obviously affected the total. So I would look to bet the under. Gianni, let's turn our attention to some NBA, my brother. The NBA, the playoffs are underway. I actually have a 5% play up in the NBA tonight for my clients. That's the $5. It's $5 Tuesday. And I'm rolling in the NBA right now, brother. I'm on a 13-5 run since January 1st. No one has been better. My NBA has been exceptional. So, guys, I didn't mean to hijack the segment and promote myself, but I've had 8 winning days in a row. Gianni and I are 1-2 best handicappers, most profitable over the last 30 days. My $5 play is tonight. There's 3 games going. Where's the money going? Milwaukee in Indiana, Memphis, OKC, and Minnesota and the Lakers. And I'm really curious about where the money's going on the Lakers game, specifically given that horrible loss in game 1.
Here's what's going on. First game, Bucks, Pacers, 2-way action from the recreational bettors. I'm talking almost split down the middle, ticket count and money. Even the over-under, nothing sticks out. But the betting syndicates bet Milwaukee immediately after game 1. As soon as that line went up, in fact, it went up at 6. It didn't, someone got +6. I don't know who got it because it was up there for a very short time. Yeah. But at 5.5 and 5 is when you saw the screen get painted. They picked off the 5.5. They picked off the 5 on Milwaukee. They sprinkled some money line on Milwaukee, and they bet the game over 226, over 226.5, over 227. So that's where the risk is going to come from this game. It's the books versus the sharps in that one, because like I said, the betting public split 50-50, money and tickets. Grizzlies, Thunder, no surprise. They're coming right back and they're riding the Thunder. Nothing really sticks out in the total, a little bit more on the over, but that's the bias. You're usually going to get favored in over bias. You got to build that in already. Like if you're not seeing above 65%, it's really not sticking out. But they are coming right back with the Thunder, and why not? They crushed the Grizzlies, who were the sharp play in game 1. Like the Grizzlies got the money probably 30 minutes before tip-off. So it was legit. It just didn't get there. And finally, in the Lakers, T-Wolves, again, close to split action. A little more money on the Lakers. Ticket count's kind of even, but the money's a little heavier on the Lakers. I think that's why we're seeing that line move a little bit from where the opener was. It's up like maybe a half a point in some places, but the over is what's getting the most one-sided public money. But the betting syndicates went under. The first group that got down, they went under like 216.5. I didn't get it, but the first runner that sent me stuff that we trade with, they went under 214.5. His guys, they went under 214 as well. But now you're looking at 210.5, 210 across the board. So it's obviously other sharp bettors also piggyback that and bet the under. But the public's more than enough over money. The books are going to need that game not to land in the middle. Like they don't, if it lands between 210 and 216, they're going to get buried on that total because they're going to pay the sharp guys that went under, and they're going to have to pay the public that's been betting over, because that's the most one-sided total the over in the Lakers game. That sticks out more than anything else as far as the totals go. And like I said, otherwise it's Oklahoma City. That's the one side that's really, really, really sticking out. And I'm kind of surprised it's still 14 and a half. I thought after game one, you'd be looking at, 15 and a half, if not 16. But, there's a lot of time between now and tip-off. But that's what's going on in the NBA. We like Milwaukee. I told you guys that yesterday. We also like the over in that game. It's off that 5. So a lot of the value, I think, has been extracted. But because of the money line action as well, I can see Milwaukee tying this one up.
Gianni The Greek joining us. You're watching WagerTalk Today. We're up live every day, 12 p.m. Eastern. Guys, hit that like button for us, please. We really do need it. And I understand that I'm constantly begging for likes, and why not? I'm not sitting out with a cup asking for money. I'm asking for you to take 1 second out of your day and hit that thumbs up button. The way the YouTube algorithm works, same with Instagram, Spotify, Shopify, Hopify, Topify, and every other stream, Tumu, Boomoo, Shmoomoo, and Kalulu, the way they all work is engagement. They need to know that you guys are liking the show. They know that by a few things. How many comments do they see? How many thumbs up buttons do they see? What is the listening time? If you guys don't want to watch the show anymore, if you think to yourself, I'm here only for Gianni, and I don't want to see Andy, and I don't want to see Hakeem, and I don't want to see Mark Zinno, fine, leave. But leave the screen running, please. Don't log out. Really important for us. Gianni, I'm going to brag. Then we're going to talk about a couple of more things.
Baseball?
Yeah, baseball, of course. So my poker's over and done with. The World Series of Poker finally came to Toronto, second year ever. I came second in the 600 event.
Wow.
I made $43,000. I then played the mystery bounty $800 event. I cashed in that as well, made a couple of $1,000. And then I played the main event, which was a 3-day event, and 2,100 people. I made it to 18th, and I cashed another $20,000. So I had a $65,000 poker experience over the last week. And it's really important to me. It validated what I've been saying and thinking about my own personal poker game, because poker is one of those games, Gianni, that everybody and their mother thinks they're really good at it, but they're just damn unlucky. A typical conversation in a household is like this. Hey, honey, I'm back from poker. How did it go? Oh, I almost did well, but I got rivered. Really? That's the 30th tournament in a row that almost went well, but you got very unlucky. Yes, honey, I don't know why the gods are against me and they like everybody else. I'm a really, really good player. I just keep getting unlucky. Yeah, you don't. That is not how it works. You get unlucky in silos. You don't get unlucky forever. So poker is not a game where everyone is really good and just unlucky. There are good poker players. There are bad poker players. And someone, Gianni, asked me, how does luck affect poker? In a silo, on any given tournament, I would say luck is 40%. In a lifetime of playing, luck is 0%. Zero. The math will work itself out over a long, extended period of time. Andrew Wodge asked, Prez, do you have to pay taxes on those tournament winnings? You know how you Americans think we're some communist country? Yeah. No, we don't pay taxes on gambling winnings. The government of Canada recognizes that we are in an entertainment sport, and they allow us to keep 100% of our winnings. How's that for communism, people? Sorry, Gianni.
That's okay.
How about
get it out? You got to get it out sometimes.
How about Bitcoin, bro?
Got to have some. Got to have some. How about gold?
Yeah. What about the Pope, Gianni? Any bets on who's going to be the next Pope?
No, I haven't even seen odds on that. I heard they're out. Yeah, see, you've got them up on Bet Online. No. Isn't that sacrilegious? I don't know if I'd want to bet on that. I'd feel a little
sacrilegious.
I don't know how I feel about that.
That's a show me and you should have, right? Okay. I know that you are a God-fearing individual. You go to church regularly.
Yes,
and you know, Gianni, I'll tell you flat out, I'm not, but I am jealous. I'm not a believer, but I'm jealous of all believers. They have found a peace
in that faith.
Yeah, inside of them that a lot of us non-believers do not have. So.
No, I recaptured my faith as a child. You lose it in adulthood because you sin and you don't get struck by lightning. You don't get, killed. So you're like, can I really do anything I want? You know what I mean? And you lose that faith you had as a child. But if you get a chance to regain it, it is a really life-changing experience.
Well, really quick question, Gianni. I met with a rabbi recently, and I said to the rabbi, look, I really want to believe. I want to be a believer. So I remember watching a football game, and I said, God, if the kicker misses this field goal, I will dedicate my life to you. And then the kicker got the field goal. So I said to the rabbi, Rabbi, I gave God an opportunity to bring me into his flock. All he had to do was get the kicker to miss the field goal. Why would he allow the kicker to kick the field goal and prevent me from joining his flock?
Because we're not to test God. That's the key. That's the difference. You have to have that faith and belief without having those things happen to you. That's the key.
All right, Prez. Before Johnny yells in, I'm calling flag.
I gotta tell you the punchline. I gotta tell you the punchline.
Once we got to religious theory,
I have to at least say the punchline. So then we're done. Johnny's like, thank you, Dan. Anyway, the rabbi said God knew you wouldn't keep to your promise, so he didn't want to put you in that terrible position.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done. We're done. How do we bet baseball tonight?
Thank you, Phantom. Hope you did some damage. All right, here's what they bet right away. Miami. And I got so mad. I went to send Miami out as a 3% play, but there was only like 8 minutes before first pitch. And, there's the 10-minute cutoff at WagerTalk. I was able to bet it, but it pissed me off that I couldn't share because I thought it was a good spot. They coming back with Miami again today. What they did a little bit, you saw last night, it got dummied up the other way where a little Cincinnati money came in. That moved the line up, and then boom, that's when they came in and bet Miami plus 125, Miami plus 120, Miami plus 115. And why not? They're a 500 team at home against a Cincinnati team that, where are they at? They're a one game below 500. I could see why they took it. The pitching matchup isn't terrible. You have two pitchers that are coming off getting rocked. So you got some Miami steam. And then Toronto. Now, Toronto, I like as a dog, but now they're the favorite. That's the problem. A lot of the value's been extracted. But if you see Bassett, how he's pitched, that kid should be sitting at 4-0. He shouldn't have a single loss. I look at it. I think he's given up one earned run in his last 3 games, and he's pitched at least 5+ innings in every one. So I think they're going to come out and put up some runs for Bassett today against Houston. The only fear there is Houston's playing below where they should be. Like when the season's over, Houston's going to definitely be about 10 games over 500. Again, there's a long time for that progression to happen, but Houston's not playing as well as they should. Right. That's what scares me a little bit. But Toronto as a dog, I think, was definitely live. And finally, LA Angels just laying the chalk over and over and over again, like at 150, at 160, at 170, at 180. So they're really fading this Pittsburgh team that's only won 2 games on the road. Now, if you look at LA, they're the one team. They've played 21 games already. Only 6 of those have been at home. So this is a team that's played a lot on the road. They've done okay, sitting at 11-10. I think that's what they are. But they're going to be terrible when the season's over. That's what scares me about laying chalk with a team like this. Like, they're going to be the last place team in the AL West when it's all said and done. them in Sacramento or in the A's are going to be fighting for last place. Laying that kind of chalk surprised me. I didn't bet it, didn't release it either, because again, that worried me, but they did bet LA like they already have tomorrow's newspaper. So those three stick out the most in Major League Baseball.
Gianni, thanks for doing this, brother. Love having you on. You're awesome.
Thanks for having me.
It's $5 Tuesday. You've been absolutely dominating. What do you have going for the clients?
Yeah, the $5 play's coming up. I just want to see what to narrow it down to, and I'm almost positive it's going to be in Major League Baseball today because I really like a play. And don't forget, we have class number 5, I believe, of the blackjack course. Anyone that signs up for the year, I know a couple guys jumped on over the last few days because we've been on fire. They get the first couple classes sent to them. So they'll have that on video. They could catch up and get with us tonight. And again, we'll be going a few more Tuesdays because I want to make sure these guys are ready to go into the casino and do some damage when it's all said and done. So we got blackjack tonight. We got $5 Tuesday. And I already have an NBA package up there with a 4% play that almost became a 5% play. But yeah, we got some action tonight for sure.
Wonderful. The show has just begun, everyone. We're going to take a deep dive into the NBA with both Mark Zinno and Skee Profit still to come. We got NHL with Andrew McInnis. We got prop bets with Andy Lang. It is $5 Tuesday. I have a 5% NBA play up for my clients. Nobody is harder than me right now. I have won 8 straight days of betting for my clients. I've won 12 of my last 14. I'm on a 13-5 NBA run. I've only had one 5% play all year. It was last Tuesday. It won. This is my second 5% play. It's only $5. You can get it over at WagerTalk. Andy Lang joining us. Andy, thank you for hosting for me yesterday. You just do such a killer job, man. It's so good.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Coming off a really nice winning day. Yesterday, we went over how we had a losing week last week, but we're up big in April. So yesterday is a really good time to just kind of feel how the week starts and make sure that we don't, bleed any more units. We were on fairly unsustainable win rate. Yesterday, we won in cricket, hit our 2 NHL plays. So
nice.
We're looking great. We're looking really, really solid for this week.
Excellent stuff. Andy, I'm really loving the new setup too. Dan's done such a good job. Enjoying seeing all the comments, not all, but some of the comments up on the screen. Let's get into some prop bets for us. You've got 3. I'll hand the mic to you.
Yeah, I want you to come in on this last hockey prop. I think it's an interesting one. But we'll start with the player prop, Tim Stützle, over 1.5 shots on goal. Prez, you talked about how, Toronto gave up a lot of shots on goal, and Stützle was one that went over. He had 3 shots on goal. Last 5 games, attempts are really through the roof. 6.2 shot attempts, 3.6 shots on goal in those 5 games. This is 3 out of 4 games he's gone over against Toronto. Regular season, Toronto was 25th in allowing shots on goal. They give 21 up per game to centers and forwards, and they gave up 33 in the first game. So Stoltz on the first power play line should get a few more opportunities. So I like him over 1.5 shots on goal. It's a little juicy, but these plays have been working for us in the NBA and NHL. So we'll be happy to lay the juice. We'll move to the NBA. Aaron Wiggins over 10.5 points. I love this one. Absolutely love this one. Against Memphis, he terrorizes them. So this season, he's averaging 25 minutes per game, 20 points, 13 field goal attempts, and he's shooting 50% from the field in 4 games against Memphis. And this line is only 10.5 points. If this is a blowout, which it very well could be, we saw what happened in game 1, he comes in and he plays garbage time in the 4th. So you get a game that's 20, 25, 30 points in the 4th. He's going to be in there more than his normal minutes. And Memphis is 23rd in points allowed to shooting guard. So I love Aaron Wiggins. I think he gets over even if he just is on his normal minutes. But we get a blowout and he comes in late. I think he should push us over this 10.5 point total. And then the one I'm interested, your take on this one. DraftKings has a prop. Hurricanes to win by shutout is 5-1. You're getting plus 500. My case for this, Prez, is what if the Devils are just done? Like injuries are piling up at the worst period of time. Like you said, Luke Hughes is already out. Brendan Dillon is already out. The Devils had 1 goal last game. They were outshot 44-24.
Yeah.
And they only had 2 power play attempts. They didn't score on either of those. I just think one of these games that Carolina wins is just going to be kind of an ass kicking, and it's a shutout. I think I'm gonna sprinkle this the next few games and see if Carolina really drops the wood on a Devils team that, listen, you're never gonna say they give up, but at some point the injuries are just too much to overcome. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so firstly, I want to talk about the Stützle prop as well, over 1.5 shots on goal. I think that's your best bet on the show, and my reasoning really simple is, he took a bad penalty for hitting. That really turned the game. And I think he's really sat on that. This is the most skillful player on Ottawa. And if Ottawa is going to turn the series around and start winning some games, he's going to have to start shooting the puck and stop hitting people all over the place. I think he knows it. I think he's coming into this game understanding that he messed up last game and that he needs to go back to who he is and what he does best. I love that prop bet. As for your shutout, I think New Jersey is done. And I love the under 2.5 goals in that game on New Jersey. Do I think there's a chance at a shutout? Absolutely. Do I think if you bet that 5 times in a row, I think you win 1, maybe 2 of them. I love that bet too. Great finds, Andy Lang. Thanks for doing that. What do you got going for the clients tonight? $5 Tuesday.
So it's not a high volume week for us, but it's high confidence. We have not won, but we just put up our second 5% play of the week, and there will be a third. There are just too many good plays. We have PFL this week. We have UFC this week. So I really recommend a 7-day pass. We have 30-day passes. We have 6-month passes and 365-day passes, all at 30% off. There's really no reason to buy an individual play. If you're looking for these 5% plays, get a 7-day pass and you lock in all of them. When we have 2 and 3 5% plays, it's an absolute no-brainer. If you're just looking for a $5 play today, we got a play that's up in the NBA. I absolutely love the play. Our NBA record is absolutely fantastic. 49-23 run in the NBA. We're up 40 units, number 1 in NBA props. But really, just lock in the 7-day pass. Lock in the 7-day pass if you're interested in these big bets. If you've been profiting with us, lock in 30 days. If you've been profiting with us over 30 days, lock in 6 months. Roll your profits over. We're having a really, really big April. This is going to be 15 out of 18 profitable months. So $5 plays in the NBA. Lock in long-term to get these 5% best bets for this weekend.
Wonderful stuff, Andy Lang, everybody. Guys, stay with us. We're doing a deep dive into the NBA, and it starts right now. Mark Zinno joining us. Mark, always a pleasure, and congratulations on your show with Brian Power, Morning Wager. It's amazing.
1-year anniversary today, Prez. We made it 365 days without killing each other, getting yelled at by management, or getting thrown off the air for saying something inappropriate. So win for us.
Well, I've gotten thrown off the air for saying stuff inappropriate. I'm always yelled at by management, including already today. So you're doing better than me, Mark Zinno.
To be fair, he was talking religion and poker stories. To be fair, let me just interject. May the bench show, Fred.
I did not give out any religious theory or thoughts at all. And I was updating my fellow listeners on my poker experience.
Hold on. Can I interject here? You know something. So, and I found this out. It is illegal to wager in any manner on who the next pope is going to be.
Wow.
So
I probably shouldn't have put those odds on the screen, is what you're saying, Mark.
If you have those odds,
so
that didn't happen.
This new setup, Mark, is all about Dan getting into the show.
I love it.
True. This is true. It's all based on getting me in here.
Yeah.
And the outfit he's wearing with the hood on is he's like a little troll that just pops in to interject and stir up the pot. I like it.
Well, I made a mistake yesterday of FaceTiming Dan, and my wife walks past. Who is that handsome guy? So, and now he wants to interject into the show. Anyway, let's move on, my brother. Congratulations on the success of the Morning Wager.
Watching, appreciating everybody being fans of the show. So, thank you for the support.
Yeah, always. Okay, so Milwaukee is playing Indiana tonight. 49% of the tickets are written on Indiana. The total here is 228.5. The line is around +4 for Milwaukee. Indiana laid the smackdown on this team last game, winning 117-98. The line was -6. They obviously covered that going away. Who do you like in this game?
Well, if you believe in the zigzag theory of the NBA playoffs, you're going to take the Bucks with the points here. But I still have a lot of concerns about the Bucks defense. The way I would attack this game, and I don't have a real good feel for it, to be honest with you, but the way I would attack this game, I look at Milwaukee's team total and go over their team total. I think it's 112.5. I mean, Milwaukee shot bad in the first game. They shot 41% from the field and just 24% from three. And not only that, they didn't score. They scored one bucket in the final 5.5 minutes of the game. And so, look, I mean, if you think that some sort of measure of scoring where they don't have a 5-minute scoring drought, they should be pushing 110 in this game easily against the Pacers defense that's bottom 10 in field goal percentage defense here. So, that's the route I would go. It looks like we're going to get Dame Lillard back. Make sure you guys wait and see if he's in the lineup before you make a wager, because in the NBA, you have to do that. But I think he's playing. I think by all accounts, we've seen that he's been upgraded to questionable, and they say he's ready to go. And if he's back in the lineup, I like this even more. I think the Bucks have a rebound game against Indiana, a bounce back game rather, and they end up pushing the pace here. I think you get a couple more outs here with Milwaukee in the team total because, could they lose the game 120-114? Yeah, they could. Indiana could certainly play with pace and get up and down. And so I think when you look at these two teams here, there's a lot of reason to believe the scoring would be up.
Mark Zinno joining us, everyone. You can find him every day on the Morning Wager with Brian Power. Mark, we're going to jump to Thursday's game. Don't worry, everybody. Skee Profit up next. He's going to take apart the remaining 2 NBA games. The New York Knicks are playing Detroit. The series is now tied. No, 2-0.
No, tied 1-1.
Tied 1-1. Yeah. Why is my stats wrong? Anyway, I'm an idiot. Whatever. I was on the Knicks first game, first half. I lost by a last-second 3-pointer. Detroit -1. If you guys are betting Detroit, we've been through the math a million times. I prefer you guys on the money line. Total here is 214.5. How you betting this one?
This series has made me sick from top to bottom. I had the Pistons +7 for a 5% play in game 1 and had an 8-point lead with 9 minutes left and a 21-0 run by the Knicks. How many 21-0 runs have there been in the NBA this year through every single game? Maybe 2 the entire year, and I'm on the wrong side of it in game 1. And then like a dope, I came back last night and took Detroit's team total over because I figured that 1, Detroit would push the pace, 2, the Knicks would continue to score. The Knicks defense isn't that great, but everybody was doomed by a third quarter where Detroit scored 20 and the Knicks scored 18, and it was dead. So I don't know. I mean, again, this is a young Detroit team. I thought the pricing for the Knicks for this series was insane, that they were that heavy of a favorite. We do this thing where we undervalue these teams, these young teams that get into the playoffs for the first time. And I get it. I don't necessarily know that the Knicks are going to lose this series, but for them to be that big of a favorite here with the line this short, it's tough. I mean, it would scream for me to take the Knicks on the money line. But again, you're looking at this depressed total. What's Detroit going to do in their first home playoff game in forever? I don't know. It's really I'll probably stay away in game 3 and try to zigzag in game 4, whatever happens there.
Mark Zinno, everyone. Mark, I can't thank you enough for doing this. I know you're a last minute. We had to swap you with Steve because I had you on Thursday. Lots of love, my friend. It's $5 Tuesday. What do you have to promote?
Yeah, $5 play up on the website in an NBA playoff game tonight. So we'll try to bounce back. We've been running a little bit cold, Prez. I have to be the bearer of truth.
Hey, Mark, come on, man. This is what we do for a living. Of course, we're gonna run cold sometimes.
It's been bad. I had the first 3 months of the year, and April has not been kind. So April showers and flowers or something, whatever. We'll turn it around here eventually. But
of course you will, dude. You're incredible, and you've had an outstanding basketball season. Thanks for doing this, brother. Skee Profit joining us, everyone. Skee, you enjoying the NBA playoffs so far? Anything that's stood out? Anything that surprised you?
I am enjoying it because we actually get the effort that we so desperately crave all season long that we never get to see. So it's been some really good games, like the game we saw last night between the Clippers and the Nuggets. I'm just really enjoying the competitive basketball.
Well, we got 3 going tonight. Mark Zinno like Milwaukee. We got Memphis playing OKC, and OKC with a total blowout last game. I actually released them for my clients. They're again minus 14.5. 61% of the tickets have been written on OKC, a total of 229. Skee, how do we bet this one?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the same exact outcome. I mean, prior to game one, this was a Memphis team that traveled, I think, 8 or 9 straight games. A Memphis team that just fired their coach. So they have an interim head coach right now. Memphis team who had players fighting with each other on the bench during the games. It hasn't been a lot positive for these Memphis Grizzlies, this Memphis Grizzlies team. You look at when they played OKC so far this season, all 5 meetings have been decided by 13 plus points. The last 7 meetings between these teams, OKC scored 131, 125, 120, 125, 130, 124, 118. They've cleared their team total that we're looking at tonight, 5 out of those 7 games. And just looking at Memphis in general, they've been a very poor defensive team. They've allowed 118 points per game in their last 10. And if you just specify when they're playing the good teams, like the top teams, like the one they'll see tonight, those 5 good teams in that span, they allowed 128.8 points per game. So just horrific defense versus a well-oiled machine in OKC. They are well rested coming into the series. They didn't have to expend too much energy in that blowout last game, and they really could have put up 150 if Memphis was competitive. They just didn't need to.
Right.
So I see this game going exactly like the first one. Maybe not as big of a beatdown, but only way I can look is OKC or the team total. Probably prefer team total.
Dude, I was playing poker during this game, Memphis OKC first go, and one of the guys at my table came back with Memphis in-game live, had himself a 20-point middle opportunity, a 20-point middle. Didn't work at all.
I can't even be too mad because you see a lot of teams come back in the NBA, but not that game.
Yeah. So tonight, is it going to be similar in the sense that if it gets ugly, it's just going to keep getting ugly?
I would think so. Yes.
Speaking of ugly, dude, did the Lakers get a memo that playoffs were starting? Minnesota laid the smackdown on this team. They beat the Lakers 117-95 in LA. How are we attacking this one tonight? Lakers minus 5.5, a total of 210.
I don't think they got the memo, Prez. I mean, they let Minnesota shot 50% from 3 on 42 attempts. That's just the Lakers playing very poor defense. Check this out. They had 42 3-point attempts, right? 27 of those attempts were classified as wide open. 15 were open. 0 were contested.
Wow.
Tight or very tight. So that's just lack of energy and effort from the Lakers on a defensive end. When I hear guys in the post-game interviews saying things like, my lack of touches, I allowed it to affect me on the defensive end. Like, those are not – that was what I saw. It was just not energy and effort there for the Lakers. Now down 0-1, I would expect those things to change. They've watched film. They'll have a new game plan. I think – and from hearing the interview, all I hear is defense, defense, defense. Obviously, I listed that they didn't, contest any threes. They were also very poor in transition and fast break defense. So I heard defense about 5+ times. Listen to the post-game interview. It makes sense why the total is coming down. I will look in that direction. We know Minnesota is also a really good defensive team, but Lakers are desperate. We know the situation that they're in, and they've been pretty consistent in one regard. That's early in the games. They're 25-10 ATS in the first quarter with Luka. They've covered 9 out of 12 versus the West. Back against the wall, I think the Lakers come out and throw the first punch in this game. Minnesota will not be the one to make adjustments because they won the first game and they did their job. They stole home court. They don't have that same urgency and motivation. So I like the Lakers early, first quarter, or the game under.
There we go. Skee Profit joining us. Outstanding work It's $5 Tuesday. I've asked everybody what their feature play is. What is yours?
Yeah, my $5 play is on a total for tonight. And on my top 3% plays or higher, I believe, in the playoffs, 80 and 31. And I apologize. They're doing fire alarm inspections over here. So sorry to everybody out there, but yeah,
all good.
That's what I'm looking at.
You can't stop the maintenance. They don't care about our show, bro.
They don't care.
Yeah, thank you for doing this, Skee, and best of luck to your Lakers tonight. I know you're a fan. Skee Profit, everyone. Guys, again, please, if you don't mind hitting that like button, greatly appreciate it. Also, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Over 200,000 subscribers. I already did the blue line today. That's up live. That's not live, but it's up now over at WagerTalk TV. I also did Puck Time today with Andrew McInnis. That show is live every single day, Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. And speaking of Andrew McInnis, he's on right now. Andrew, we've spoken about every single thing today. I have gone deep into the NHL already with Gianni, so I'm not really going to add much here. I'm going to hand the mic over to you. Let's start with Ottawa against Toronto. I've already mentioned that I think Ottawa is a bad bet tonight, and I like them under 2.5 goals team total wise. Gianni says there's a lot of wise money coming in on Ottawa, which surprises me, but also a lot of wise parlays between Ottawa and Carolina. How do you like this game?
You know, Prez, I do like the what you said there and your theory about when a team doesn't really play their best, get the victory, and they get to come back again at home, play again. And the crazy thing is, 6-2 finish, but the expected goals 5-on-5 actually favored the Ottawa Senators, 1.9 to 1.3. The big key for the Ottawa Senators is going to be staying out of the box. But to the point that you made, the Maple Leafs are going to say, you know what, we might not have even created a ton of chances 5-on-5, and we still managed to put up 6 goals, which is going to be very impressive for them. I do actually lean towards under 5.5 in this game. I think that we see more of a hard-nosed game, more of a defensive, kind of a chess match type of game. If both teams can stay out of the box, limit the power play goals, especially if Ottawa can do that, keep this game 5-on-5, keep Toronto off the power play. Their power play is so lethal that they don't even have a defenseman running the point. Mitch Marner runs the point. You've got William Nylander, Austin Matthews, Tavares. There's so much talent out there. I think if this game stays 5-on-5, we could see the game go under 5.5, which has been a rarity so far this year in the NHL playoffs. But moving into the next game, Prez, I think that this strategy could work well in both games. And I think that if you bet the first period over team total for the Ottawa Senators, split that bet with the first period money line for them, and do the exact same thing with the Minnesota Wild. I especially like it for the Minnesota Wild, but take these teams to score a goal in the first period, because as we know, scoring a first goal doesn't always mean you're going to have a good full 60-minute effort, right? But a lot of times you will see in game 2, after the road team drops game 1, they come out as hard as they possibly can. They're motivated. The pregame jitters are out of the picture because it's game 2, not game 1 anymore. And, you're getting that good price on them just to score a goal, not win the period, not win the game, just to get a goal in the first period. So I know I'm kind of taking an under full game in first period there for the Senators, but it's kind of a very similar pick I like for the game versus the Wild and the Knights.
Andrew McInnis joining us. Andrew, Minnesota playing Vegas tonight. I already mentioned at the top of the show, I like the under 5.5. What are you doing in this one?
Yeah, like I said, I think the teams can really kind of respond after game 1. And I think if you're the Wild right now, you look at that game and you say, you know what, we were right there. As good as Vegas can be at home, it took a 0.1 second goal, a goal with 0.1 seconds left on the clock for them to score in order to hit the puck line, in order to hit the over, in order to hit the team total. Minnesota kept things close. With Gustafsson in goal, they've got a puncher's chance. They've got a great defensive identity towards them. Minus 115 is the price. And this is a unique play here, but for them to score a goal in the first period. And if you split that bet and put a half unit sprinkle on the plus 165 for the Wild to win the first period, I think that's crucial. I think that if you take a look at this Minnesota Wild team, the way that they're built, their center depth that they have, I think they can use their speed and get to the Vegas Golden Knight players early on. I think Vegas is very physical. Vegas has the age difference. They're a lot more experienced, but I think if the Wild want to come out fast, come out early, I believe that's the best way to bet this Minnesota Wild team is minus 115 over half a goal first period and a little sprinkle on the plus 165 for them to win the first period. But to your point, you like the under, Prez, and it's hard to argue because I do feel like that's what benefits this Wild team. If you told me tonight the game ended 5-3, I would tell you the Vegas Golden Knights won. Jack Eichel had a goal. Mark Stone had a goal. This guy had a goal. The Wild need a defensive game. Typically, underdogs want to keep it as boring as they possibly can, and I do agree with that. However, I do think Minnesota gets a goal, at least one, in the first period. But, Prez, I'm excited. I got a 5% play going tonight in the NHL. It's just $5. I'm on a 5-0 NHL run. This year at the website, I was number one with 5% NHL plays. We were very consistent with them. And when people knew that I was putting one out, they followed. And if you guys haven't been following my NHL lately, today's a good day to do it with it just being $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk. All of us having a play up for $5. And Prez has a big play going in the NBA. And I got a big bet going tonight in the NHL. Long term, we're up close to 50 units on 5% NHL plays. We do preach to you guys, hey, 3%, 4%, 5%. You don't want to manage that bankroll properly, but I have done my best to hit these big bets for you guys. And today's play is only $5 at wagertalk.com.
Brilliant stuff. There you go. Andrew McInnis, everyone. And that is the show. Outstanding day of content. Still more. Lots of videos coming up on our channel. Check that out. Tomorrow's WagerTalk Today show will have Gianni the Greek, Andy Lang, Ronald Kabang, who will take apart all 3 NBA games, Jesse Schul with some NBA props, and we're going to end the segment with Art DeCesar from the Westgate. So make sure to join us for Wednesday's show. I can't thank you guys enough. I'm so appreciative of all of you who take time to watch these shows live across all the platforms. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe to our channel. And please make sure to comment. Lots of love, everyone. Let's all win big tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.